At 6 o'clock tonight, we do have new details on the breaking news as a jury reaches a split verdict in the trial of two former officers charged in the death of Elijah McClain.
The 23-year-old died after a violent encounter with Aurora police back in the summer of 2019. Now, one of those officers, Randy Roedema, was found guilty on all charges. The other, Jason Rosenblatt, was found not guilty on all charges. That verdict was read about an hour ago.
We do have team coverage for you tonight of this trial since it began. Rick Sallinger live with a breakdown of the long road that it took, of course, to get to this point. First, though, we want to go out live to our Karen Morfitt out at the Adams County Courthouse tonight. Karen, a split verdict seems a little unexpected today.
A little bit unexpected, Karen. Lots of emotions as that verdict was read inside the courtroom this afternoon. Obviously, the first verdict read for Randy Roedema, guilty of criminally negligent homicide. That's the lesser charge, and as well as third-degree assault, also the lesser charge. You'll remember he was initially charged with manslaughter and second-degree assault. And then the second verdict read for Jason Rosenblatt, not guilty of reckless manslaughter and not guilty of second-degree assault. Both of their families were crying, tearing up as those verdicts were handed down, as well as was Elijah McClain's mother, who wiped her eyes as those verdicts were read and then left the courtroom with her fist raised in the air. That not the verdict that she was wanting. She said shortly after leaving the courtroom that that's what happens in the divided states of America. Then we were able to see as one of the defendants, Jason Rosenblatt, left the courtroom as well, tears in his eyes after being handed down that not guilty verdict, as well as Randy Roedema leaving with his attorneys surrounding him. You heard from the Attorney General shortly after in our 5 o'clock newscast, who spoke briefly outside of the courtroom. He said, you know, if this was not the verdict that folks were expecting, whether you agree with what the jury landed on here, he wanted to remind everyone why this case was important.
One of the ways that we can honor the memory of Elijah McClain is continue to work on how we improve policing, how we build trust between law enforcement and community. There are many honorable police officers who fulfill their oaths to serve and protect the public every single day. Yet too many times, we've seen people die. We've seen people seriously injured because of their encounters with law enforcement.
Now, again, Randy Roedema found guilty on the lesser charges of criminally negligent homicide and third-degree assault. His sentencing will be in the coming months, set for January 5th. And again, 2 more trials ahead, one of which will start first thing tomorrow morning with jury selection. Karen and Michaela.
All right, Karen, thank you for your reporting. We appreciate it. We know this has been a lengthy court process. Your reporter, Rick Sallinger, joins us now. And Rick, you've covered it every step of the way.
Well, Karen, reaction like this verdict has been mixed. These were 2 Aurora police officers at the time, and Chief Art Acevedo reacted with a statement. It said, "We respect the verdict handed down by the jury and thank the members of the jury for their thoughtful deliberation and service. Due to the additional pending trials, the Aurora Police Department is precluded from further comment at this time." Let's recap the Elijah McClain case.
Surprise!
Elijah McClain was 23 years old, a massage therapist and a runner. He wore a mask for warmth when he bought iced tea at a convenience store. Then someone called 911 about a sketchy-looking person.
He's walking south on Billings Street and he has a mask on.
Aurora police responded.
Hey, stop right there. Stop. 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 I have a right to stop you because you're being suspicious.
Officer Nathan Woodyard was soon joined by Jason Rosenblatt, Randy Roedema, and others.
Rosenblatt, he ended up trying to put a carotid on the guy.
A neck hold, which restricts blood flow to the brain, made McClain go unconscious. He vomited in his mask.
I can't breathe correctly because...
Paramedics arrived and injected McClain with the sedative ketamine. He died several days later. No first responders were charged at first. Then came the national attention on the death of George Floyd at the hands of police. Suddenly, protesters started saying, "What about Elijah McClain?" 3 officers and 2 paramedics were indicted. This was the first of 4 trials.
People of the state of Colorado v. Randy Roedema, 21 CR 2782. People of the state of Colorado v. Jason Rosenblatt.
For its case, the prosecution repeatedly played the body camera video, with several expert witnesses commenting. The defense called no one, relying on its cross-examination. Then, final appeals to the jury from each side.
It didn't have to be that way for Mr. McClain. In this case, the defendants are guilty of serious crimes because of the way they handled Mr. McClain and the choices they made that evening.
You've heard the prosecution. The prosecution's doing everything it can to distract you from the law and the facts, to appeal to your emotions.
The cause of Elijah McClain's death was found to be ketamine, following forcible restraint.
Rick, we know that you're also, we were hoping that you could clarify a few things for us. We were curious as to why a split verdict. Why do you think this happened today?
Well, Karen and Michaela, obviously the jurors felt that Randy Roedema's actions played a role in Elijah McClain's death. Now, let me point out, as Karen did, that the jury did not convict him of manslaughter, but the lesser charge of criminally negligent homicide. On assault, the jury found Roedema guilty of the lesser charge of third-degree rather than second-degree assault.
And Rick, we also know Rosenblatt was found not guilty. He was fired from his job there. Roedema was convicted, but he was suspended. Can you explain that?
Well, Rosenblatt was not fired directly for his actions involving Elijah McClain. He was sent a photo of officers posing where the incident happened, making light of it. Rosenblatt responded with the words, "Ha ha." That's what got him fired.
So, Rick, we are all wondering, too, what is ahead? What's next?
More trials. The next step is Nathan Woodyard, who was the first officer to stop McClain. He also performed the carotid hold, which made him go unconscious. After his trial, each of the paramedics will go on trial. Now, Randy Roedema was convicted today, but he will not be sentenced until all those trials are over. A January date has been set.
All right, Rick, thank you. We appreciate your coverage.
Your reporters, Karen Morfitt and Rick Sallinger, have been updating you on this case every day. They'll continue following the proceedings all the way up until Randy Roedema's sentencing in the months to come.